What is up, guys? This is your one and only Wild Rocker. Today I'm going to be doing a questionnaire, and we actually have a friend, and lots of people during Destiny, aka Guardians. They're asking a lot of questions on how to do the raid on hard mode, and today I'm actually going to answer one person's in particular questions, and his name is JDM, underscore Fluffy, and he is asking me questions about his raid because he is currently having issues, and he is, not doing exactly what he needs to be doing, or him or his fire team. So he actually written a couple questions down last night for me, and I would feel free to answer them and give him my honest opinion. So let's jump right into it. His first question is, what is the right type of light level for raids? Now, since all these questions are going to be revolving about hard mode, I would recommend between 300 and 310. Anything above 310 is great, but honestly, at 300, you can still do it. It might be a little bit more challenging, but honestly, in my opinion, I would recommend a 302 or 304 minimum and 310 or higher at most. And this is for every Guardian, for Warlocks, Hunters, and Titans. Question 2. What weapons are best and for most DPS during the raid? Well, it depends on what part of the raid that you're doing. If you're doing Golgoroth, I would definitely recommend the Black Spindle. If you do not have that, I would suggest to do that mission as quick as possible, and when it becomes a daily, and to level that up very, very high. Even though mine's a 312 and it did about 4.9 million on Golgoroth just by myself during DPS, I've had people that were doing massive, much more damage with their 3710s, 320s, 319 Black Spindles. Definitely recommend it. Definitely it is a must during Golgoroth. As for War Priest, same exact thing. Make sure you're doing DPS. If you have the shield, though, worry about those ads. If you're not having the shield, make sure a Titan in the back has weapons of light. Have that bonus. Do some damage. Simple. As for Sisters, I would recommend your 310 Touch of Malice that you originally got during the quest line. If you do not have your Touch of Malice, I would suggest any raid weapon in particular that has good DPS. As you see, I actually infused my original Touch of Malice to my Smiter Moran, even though it is a normal raid weapon, and that was because I did not have anything stronger during the time to do DPS. Currently doing the raid mode on hard last night with my Hunter, which was the first time, because my Hunter's not even a week old, which was amazing that we did it on hard and completed it. I actually got a 314 auto rifle, so that is going to take this gun's replacement. I am going to fuse my Touch of Malice back up to 310, hopefully even higher, and Touch of Malice is also very good for Sisters as well, and Oryx. So I would recommend those guns. If you do not have any of these guns, infuse anything that you have that is 300 or 304, 305 or higher, because anything 295 or even 300, sometimes even 300, it's not going to do enough DPS, and it's going to cause you guys to wipe. So I would not recommend any machine guns, or I would recommend machine guns. Do not do any rocket launchers unless you're doing ad control for a specific part in the raid. Other than that, don't use rocket launchers. This next question is how to prevent a lot of wiping in my raid. Well, in order to prevent a lot of wiping, you want to make sure everyone has a good light level. You want to make sure everyone has good armor, and you want to make sure everyone has, good stats, as in their armor, weapons, etc., etc. Now, as you see, I never actually had the raid helmet yet for any of my Guardians, Titan, Warlock, and Hunter, but I had to improvise and deal with what I had. So I have currently a 307 helmet, Devouring Maul, which you get from that Saber Strike mission. It doesn't bother me because it's only 307, but, I mean, people running in there with 315, 316, so on and so on helmets, it really doesn't matter. As long as it's about 304, 302-ish and higher, you should be okay for every piece of gear that you got. The reason that my gear is so high now is because I constantly ran it on hard mode with my Warlock and did a lot of infusing as well. To prevent wiping, though, you want to make sure everyone has good guns. You want to make sure everyone knows their role. As for a person that is capturing the gaze from Golgoroth, make sure who's calling out the sequence in War Priest. You want to make sure that people feel comfortable with who they are with, such as to prove if you are worthy during War Priest. You want to make sure everybody is comfortable being on the left side or the middle or the right. You want to make sure everybody's comfortable doing things differently than they would in null raid, because it's a little bit different. Not too different where you have to make drastic changes, but you kind of have to, think outside the box when it comes to the raid on hard mode. To prevent DPS, though, to prevent people from wiping, make sure that they are comfortable with the people they are with, to make sure that they could probably help them out. Communication and DPS is definitely the key during the raid on hard mode, and you just want to make sure everyone's on the same page, and it should prevent everyone from DPSing, or I keep saying DPSing, from wiping. If a person was to wipe, which is your other question now, if a person was to wipe, what should you do during the raid? Continue it. You want to continue, and let's say a person dies and you still have like maybe a quarter left on Golgoroth, but you think that you can take them out, then take them out. Don't prevent yourself or your fire team from wiping if you guys know and you guys are for sure that you can take them out. Even if you kind of, are half and half and you're not too sure that you can do it, at least go out and try, because you never know. For my raid group, I had a person, this was on normal mode weeks ago, they revived me during War Priest, and they couldn't get enough DPS because we ran it with two 80s, and it was their first time bringing them in the raid. I unfortunately died because I had the shield and I couldn't kill any ads or anything because we were in mid, and fucking War Priest was moving back and forth like crazy. Well, when they revived me, they didn't think that they were gonna kill him. Well, I had my black spindle, I popped him about 3 to 4 times in the head, and we got him. So don't give up on your fire team and stay committed to your fire team. Your next question is, what should you do during Golgoroth? Well, being on hard, the person that has the bomb, they should call it out, and they should immediately get out of that pit, of that little puddle that drops down into that little area. It will prevent you from doing more DPS to Golgoroth, but that's fine. Make sure that you guys are safe. You'd rather all be safe and not dead than to, get Golgoroth almost dead, but then half your team's already dead as well. For DPS, you want to run black spindles. You want to make sure everybody is okay, running with what they have. If they only have like 295 sniper rifles or 295 weapons, I would recommend them to infuse them to at least 300 or even higher, especially being on hard mode. You want to have a person assigned to Gaze Seeker, and you also want to make sure that you have a backup Gaze Seeker if they were to go down. Same with War Priest. For the person that calls out the sequence and they surprisingly die, you want to make sure that you have a backup person that knows how to call them out and read them out. Whether it be you or a person in your fire team, you always want to have a backup plan, no matter what. Let's see, I answered that question, which was what to do when 1 or 2 people die during the boss fight, to go with it no matter what, because you never know if you can actually beat it with a certain amount of people. Next question is, the best way to do a raid without any delays? Well, you want to make sure everyone's on time, you want to make sure everyone's okay and comfortable with who they're running with. I've actually ran with groups that were complete strangers, but I got more familiar with them and how they did things. You guys want to make sure that you talk and communicate well. If they do not have mics, or if you set up a voice chat and they're currently not in it, get them in it. Make sure to do a voice chat to hear people a little bit more clear instead of in-game chat, because people have issues with that. If a person somehow miraculously, because we've had this in the past, would leave the voice chat by accident and they would get booted or lagged out, just still keep doing the raid, because 9 times out of 10 they should know how to do it regardless, and they shouldn't need any communication, but it may cause problems. So just keep running the raid. Do not automatically wipe just because a person or 2 left the voice chat. You want to make sure everybody knows what they're doing before they get into the raid, because it would prevent accidents or occurrences such as that. And also to make sure everyone's on time, and to make sure that nobody has to take a break or anything like that. Go to the tower before you actually start the raid. Make sure everybody's supplied on ammos or is having second thoughts with their weapons or gear. Always do that before we start the raid. And sometimes we do it during the raid, halfway in the raid, because people run out of ammo. And his final question is, best way to communicate and lead a fire team? Well, you want to make sure that you are the person in charge. You want to make sure that you can maintain calm. You want to be calm, because if they see that leader's freaking out, then 9 times out of 10 they freak out as well. You want to make sure that you are calm, cool, and relaxed, but you want to be on point. You want to you want to have that precision kill all the time, and you want to make sure that everyone is doing what they need to do. If you have to give out certain positions and assign placements for people, go ahead. If they're okay with that, then do it. If they're not, discuss why. If people are dying, let's say you have a person on your team that constantly dies, don't bash them, but question them and ask them why, and maybe you could prevent that from happening again the next time you guys start it up. If they're having issues and being argumentative, try to bear with them, because people usually get antsy during the raid, especially on hard mode. But if they're flat out constantly dying and you're at a part such as War Priest or Golgoroth for hours and hours and hours, and you guys run it again the next day, and it seems like you guys ain't getting anywhere, I would suggest looking elsewhere for people that can help you do DPS. I know it sounds like a dick move, but if you have a person that you know, or a group that, you know, wants to be committed and finishing this, but that one person is just always, trailing behind, not doing enough DPS and not doing enough damage, I hate to say it, but you're probably going to have to boot them, unless they can hurry up and infuse and grind away before they go back into the raid. Because that's the whole point, is it shows people who's grinding, it shows who's doing enough DPS and who's doing work and who's not. I mean, every part of the raid shows that. So, yeah, I'm happy to answer your questions. If anyone else has any more questions, let me know. This has been Wild Rocker, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.